M Ensemble is a resident company of the Sandrell Rivers Theater in Liberty City. 2024 marks 53 years of preserving and promoting African American culture through theater in South Florida, leaving an imprint on the South Florida theater community forever. But it didn't start there. It started in a small 60-seat theater called Our House Playhouse, with company members and founder T.G. Cooper, his wife Grace, Sam Williams, Patricia Williams, and Shirley Richardson.
I moved here in 1968 from Atlanta right after I got out of college. And it was right on the heels of the riots that took place after the assassination of Martin Luther King.
News of Dr. King's death would spark riots in 120 cities across the country, primarily in Black urban areas, including Northwest 62nd Street in Liberty City. The street was home to doctors' offices, clothing stores, restaurants, amongst other thriving businesses. Yet still, there was an intense injustice being done to the people of Liberty City. And Black residents had grown tired. The city was overpopulated. Black people were making little to nothing in wages. And just over the bridge in Miami Beach, you had a thriving, illustrious city. The Miami riots of 1968 burned most of the thriving businesses on 62nd Street, and some would never recover.
So when M Ensemble Company was formed, the plight for justice and freedom amongst Black people was still very much perilous. I mean, the 1960s, we made a lot of progression, but it was also devastating for us. They were murdering our leaders. I mean, in 1965, we lost Malcolm. In 1968, we lost Dr. King. In 1969, we lost Fred Hampton. And so you have the early years of the 70s where the civil rights movement is trying to hold on. Black Panther Party is, trying to keep the fight. And then in the beautiful city of Miami, you have these bold and brave group of young people who decide that their voice and their activism will be done through theater. And that's what they've been doing all this time.
When we started in '71, our thing was to produce quality theater for African Americans. That's a treasure right there.
I never had a chance to really participate on any of the plays at the University of Miami because they really didn't have any place for me to do. There were only 3 Blacks on campus at that time. And when TG came on and talked about, his goals and plans and dreams for M Ensemble, I just immediately jumped on board.
I had some friends and associates that I knew that was on the University of Miami campus with the M Ensemble Company, where T.G. Cooper founded and was doing that. And so I got involved with it. And the rest is history.
What attracted me to the M Ensemble, we were working with, I was working with the Theater Afro Arts as well. Well, it gave us a place to perform. The other alternative was, here in this area was the Theater Afro Arts, and we were doing mostly poetry type shows. I liked that Ted was kind of venturing out to do more full plays, full production plays. And I thought that was really exciting.
The one that I have fond memories of was the first one I ever did. That was Pearly Victorious. That was the first full production that the M Ensemble ever did.
And after Pearly Victorious, the M Ensemble Company roared on, producing work that not only showed us in a positive light, but represented Black people in a way that the African American culture would be proud.
We started out with Black plays written by Black people for and about Black people, right? Some of those plays were not too complimentary to people of other persuasions, right? So we were known for dealing with people from the stage, and that gave us kind of a reputation, as there are those people over there that kill white people every week, every weekend.
And after TG left, and left certain people in charge, and Pat and I was not on the list. And so eventually those people kind of disappeared and went their own separate ways, and that left me, Pat, and Sam. And so we felt this responsibility. We started something and we could not just do what others did, walk away from it. It was too important for us because we began to understand how important our culture was, because we were not exposed to a whole lot of African American plays at that time.
We just keep going. Funding, we don't let that stop us because we have a goal and a mission. That's what our mission is.
We have to give some credit to former Commissioner Arthur Teal. He was very supportive of the work that we were doing, but he did a lot to solidify the M Ensemble's place in the Miami community.
The Cultural Affairs at that time was not giving any grants to any African American groups, performing groups, theater groups, dance, whatever. Pat and I really didn't have a grant writing experience or administrative duties like that. We were like forced into that. The challenging thing became when we had to share space, because what we saw, there was merging groups coming up, and they had nowhere to go either. So they came to the Cultural Arts Center, to their rehearsals and their plays and so forth and so on. So it became very challenging trying to balance, that space, the use of the space, because, we go there and somebody's still rehearsing and it's our time, and, it became very frustrating.
M Ensemble with South Florida's most prestigious theater award.
To be honest with you, when we got to the Carbonell that night before the curtains, lit up, someone whispering in our ear and say, hey, there's a buzz going around, the M Ensemble gonna rack up tonight.
Those Carbonells were the first time we beat out all the companies, the other theater companies that were around in Miami. It was wonderful. We felt so great.
I think I dropped my drink, my phone, everything went running down. I just couldn't believe it. I thought it was all done. And so it was just an amazing night that night. We were all so happy and proud of the work, because even though we knew it was a good piece of work, we just didn't feel that it was going to be good enough for the Carbonell panel, because we have been nominated a couple of other times and we never won anything. And I always felt, as I used to tell Pat, they only nominated us so they have somebody to run against. The winners could have someone to run against. But, that night it said something different. It's very important to have a children's theater, especially for our culture, because many kids do not have that opportunity otherwise to participate, because there's nothing there. And kids like to be creative. A lot of kids have that dream to be on stage, but if you don't have a platform for them, then they're gonna miss out on that opportunity.
This is actually my first time being like a big stage production like this.
But every time the end of the school year comes, I have to see that stupid questioning. What is your father's favorite hobby? What do you and your father have most in common? What was the favorite trip you've been on with your father? Where was your father born? What is your father's favorite thing to do? What do you love most about your father? I don't know! I know Chris. And Chris was never a father to me.
Yeah, the impact that the M Ensemble had on me in particular, well, it gave a young man such as myself a sense of purpose You know, I never thought of myself as being a stage actor or anything like that. But being engaged with the M Ensemble, it gave you a sense of purpose, responsibility, and I ended up doing something that I really, really enjoyed doing.
It made me who I am. It just made me strong out here. It made me just resilient, you know, and I even received my first check from the M Ensemble. I would never forget. I was about 14 years old, and I was able to buy my school clothes that year.
I just think that exposure, you know, just for children especially, to get an opportunity to realize, you know, life doesn't have to be about survival. There's more to life. It makes you want to enjoy things more, you know, think more about enjoyment, and just really tapping into what you want to do and who you are, you know, not being bound to, you know, I have to do this to survive. This is all there is out of life. It's a lot more than that, and being a part of the Children's Theater allowed me to get that knowledge and experience.
Worked together, and it was a fantastic synergy that we had, and I told them whatever they want me to do, if it's sweep the floor, if it's hang lights, if it's serve food, greet people, take tickets, stage manage, act, whatever, work backstage, on stage, that I would do it because I love the legacy that they have here in South Florida, and I want to be a part of that.
I just saw like how they were willing to push through with whatever to make it happen, man, and just saw the passion behind it, and made me fall in love with it. And then of course, you know, Miss Pat and Shirley, you just gotta love it.
When I did Other Side of America, that was a new opportunity because it wasn't just theater now, it was film. And I think it was during a time of need, especially, you know, with the whole gun violence thing going on nowadays, and not just gun violence, but police brutality as well. So I think Other Side of America was giving us a sense of telling both of those stories, whether it's gun violence, police brutality, everything that we're dealing with in today's world.
I believe M Ensemble has had such a far-reaching effect on the theater community here. It has done fine work through a 50-year period. It's given a start to more actors than I can remember, and I want to name a few and apologize to the ones that I might forget to name, but I mean, I've seen Andre Gainey and Keith Wade and Sean McKinney and Ethan Henry and Leila Elam. I saw Terrell McCraney in a show, in an M Ensemble show. So it's really been thrilling to see the way M Ensemble has given opportunities to great actors, brought them along, sort of helped expand their careers.
Don't you know that Constitution ain't nothing but bull, man? Make it work, and you got to weapon. I say burn the motherfucker. Look, man, we gone all those routes.
A few years ago, Shirley and I said, this is bigger than us. Because sometimes you do feel like you want to give up, but we can't because of the legacy, and we have to keep it going and to keep our mission going.
Take this with you. And remember what I told you. If anything don't seem right, use this and make it right. When you're done, put all the horses in the stable. Okay. Chuck them good. Hurry back now. Okay. He's fine. Said he don't need no help.
The fire never went out. The spark seemed to always be there. And when I come here always, I just feel so excited and happy and joyful. So I just love the theater, and I love them ensemble, what they stand for, what they do.
You can do that tomorrow. Let's go into town and be girls, y'all. Let's be girls. All right. Come on, Harlem.
One writer said, you know, the M Ensemble is doing this thing, but I'm not sure about their future. And I just want to let him, you know that we survived. You know, a lot of people didn't.